Hey guys, this is Camfrey15 and I'm back at it with another video for you guys, and we are back with another Higehiro episode review for you guys. And this is episode 6, and we got to possibly, if you saw obviously the end credit scene to episode 5 of Higehiro, what we would probably see this episode. And all I can say is thank God nothing happened. It almost did, but thank God nothing happened. As despicable as the first half of this episode was, the back half was a really good part of the episode. And can I just say this? Everybody in their lives need an Asumi friend in their life. Like, we need all friends like that. Now, obviously, you're always going to have that type of friend that cares about you and is going to be there for you whenever you're in your darkest of days and stuff like that. I have a few friends like that too. But you really need people like, Asumi. If you can find yourself what Asumi is as a person, you got yourself a friend. I'll tell you that, because what she did was very nice of her and stuff like that. And we do get a little bit more background information about her lifestyle. We see that she's exactly, even though she works at essentially, I guess you can say, a little convenience store. What is it? She's legit rich, and she actually has big aspirations and dreams. But anyways, let's talk about this week's episode of Higehiro, which was probably one of the most, I would say, highly anticipated episodes to see what we were getting, especially from that end credit scene. Now, when Sayu walks into work, she sees the board of all the names and stuff like that, people's shift and everything, and then she sees the name Yaguchi Kiyoya. I'm just gonna call the person Yaguchi because the last name is hard to say. And essentially, she says, "I feel like I remember and heard that name before, or something like that, or seen that name before." And that's when we see the dude walk in, and he's like, "Oh, Sayu, it's me. You remember me? When we had..." And I'm like, dude, really? You're really just gonna say "Oh, you remember me? We did it with each other." I'm like, come on, man. You gotta be. I'm like, all right, this dude. Now, when I was first watching this episode, I was like, okay, this dude's already started. He's already hating me. Like, first things first, that's not how you meet somebody again if you haven't seen him on, even if you did do the dirty stuff with somebody. You don't just openly say, "Hey, but you remember me, we did it together." No, Ninja, you just say whatever. Anyways, Sayu tries to play it off like she doesn't know the guy, like she doesn't know Yaguchi, and then Asumi comes in, and essentially she's like, "Look, leave her alone. Leave Sayu alone. She wants nothing to do with you. Just go back to work," and stuff like that. So yeah, now Asumi tells Sayu, listen, she doesn't have to tell her anything. She doesn't want to unless she's comfortable and she's ready to talk to her about it, unless she wants to, essentially. Now, after Sayu's done with work, she's walking back home, and then we see Yaguchi right in the corner of the screen, which, of course, I should have seen this coming. I knew he wasn't going to give up without a fight. What is that noise? Anyways, what happens next is the fact that he tells her, "Look, I'm just going back home," and stuff like that. And Yaguchi's like, "Oh, really? I want to know where you're living at. Like, what? You're staying at another person's house again? You still running away?" And essentially, the major thing that happens in the scene is Yaguchi essentially blackmails Sayu, saying like, "Look, if you don't let me go over there, I'm going to tell Asumi everything that we've been through," and stuff like that, which in Sayu's eyes, she feels like it could get Asumi mad at her. Now, personally, if you ask me, I don't see with how good of a friend she is why she would get mad at Sayu. I definitely feel like she would get morally mad at Yaguchi, but because of this fear and stuff like that of it, Sayu's like, "Okay, fine, I gotta text my owner that you're able to come over, and if he says it's cool and everything." And that happens. Obviously, Yoshida doesn't know much, but that's what happens. So he goes over to the house and essentially just kind of sits down. He's like, huh, pretty nice and tidy up in here, huh? And he essentially just questions Sayu, like, look, how long have you been here? She's like, I've been here for 2 months, essentially. And essentially, the dude's like, why would this dude not want to do it with a teenage girl who's cute and stuff like that? And we all know Yoshida's not about that life and everything. And that's when things start to get really testy in this scene. And I wouldn't blame people if they just walked away or tried to skip the scene, or not even look at the scene. And essentially, you have Yaguchi forcibly trying to put himself in advance on Sayu. And Sayu's trying her best to stop. And she's like, get off me, do not do this. I don't want to do this. And he essentially is like, it's okay, I'll be gentle. Your typical, R word type of talk for somebody who's trying to forcefully put advances on a girl when they want nothing to do with you and stuff like that. And again, like I said, I don't blame people if they wanted to skip the scene or if they just didn't want to look at it. It is a very disturbing and disgusting scene. And you just have Sayu in her monologue with herself. Like, but what if I don't do this and I kick him out? And what if he just goes up telling, and then the cops find out? And then lo and behold, Yoshida is going to get in trouble. And then, when she was at first resisting, she starts to just give in, and she's just like, you know what, just do it already and stuff like that. And I'm like, no, don't. Now obviously in her shoes, the fear is definitely there. Like, I understand, like, if this dude actually, like, it's very interesting because this dude wasn't really freaking smart. He could have really, if he was being an absolute piece of shit, I still think he's a piece of shit, but at least he had some respect in the slightest. We'll talk about his apology. But if he really was an absolute thing where he forcibly wanted to do this, he could have just said, well, guess what? If you don't do this with me, I'm just going to tell the cops, and this guy's going to get in trouble, and yada, yada, yada. But then again, he can't really do that because then he would get in trouble too. He forcibly tries to put himself on it, and when it looks like things are going to get haywire, and I'm like, don't tell me this is actually going to happen. Don't tell me, this dude Yoshida is going to walk in and freaking see these two doing it, and things are going to get haywire. But no, before that even happens, Yoshida does come in just in the nick of time before this dude Yaguchi gets anything started. He kicks him out of the freaking house, and he's like, get the hell out of here. Do not ever think about doing that again. And essentially, Yaguchi goes on to tell Yoshida and questions him, one, why are you not doing this with such a pretty girl and stuff like that? And obviously, Yoshida's like, I have my standards, unlike you freaks and stuff like that. And essentially, Yaguchi even goes on further to question, like, why are you helping her? Like, we're both criminals in this case, if we're being honest here. You have no relation to her. You're just keeping her in there. What if you get in trouble and stuff like that? And things like that. And, I did see a post on the comment section of Verve saying, why didn't Yoshida just beat the ever-living shit out of Yaguchi? The reason is this, guys. Yes, did Yaguchi rightfully deserve to get his ass kicked by Yoshida? Yes. But the thing is, if, say, that happens and the cops see this, things get even more dicey, because if they see Sayu, well, guess what? The cops can easily ask Yoshida, is this girl like a family member related to you? And all Yoshida has to say is, no, she's not. And then lo and behold, he can end up going to jail himself for it. Yaguchi, essentially, he's like, I don't understand why some dude would help a girl that's pretty thing when she's openly willing to do it with you and stuff like that. And essentially, Yoshida's like, look, I'm trying to make it to where she doesn't do that stuff anymore and things like that. And essentially, Yoshida's like, look, don't ever come here again. Don't ever be around her again. Otherwise, obviously you're gonna get the wrong end of the stick. And obviously Yaguchi is like, yeah, I know, I'll leave her alone and stuff like that because I already know I'm gonna be threatened by you. So yeah. So after that happens, obviously Yoshida goes back into the apartment. He talks to Sayu saying, look, it's okay. He's gone and stuff like that. And essentially it's like Sayu says like that was one of many guys that slept with me and stuff like that. And essentially the question Yoshida, was asking himself is, and he even thought about it, is like, why is this dude blaming me for trying to help out somebody when these other dudes who were messing around sleeping with Sayu could have started it from the jump. The first person could have actually did what Yoshida's doing and been able to help her and been able to maybe get her life back on track and stuff like that. And that's what kind of Yoshida was thinking about himself. At the same time, he was also consoling Sayu, saying, look, I'm going to help you. I'm going to be there to protect you. People that really do care about you are going to be there to protect you and stuff like that, which was kind of also another thing in the episode. Now, the next day, she goes to work. Asumi tries to ask her, like, is there anything that's wrong with you? Because you look off. And obviously, Sayu kind of lies, saying, no, I'm good. But then Asumi goes in and she goes on to say to Yaguchi, what the hell did you guys do? Or what did you do? Did you try to do anything to her? And essentially, honest dude, I'll give him props. He's honest, at least. I'll give him props. The dude's honest. He tells no lies, because he could have easily said, I did nothing. But no, he straight up says, oh, I tried to do sex with her and stuff like that. And she wasn't having it. And then obviously, Asumi is like, look, don't ever do that again. If she says no, leave her alone and stuff like that. You'll apologize. So eventually she apologizes, or Yaguchi apologizes to Sayu. Sayu doesn't really accept the apology or doesn't really forgive him for what he did. And she even says, like, I'm not going to forgive you what you did, but at least you're honorable in the fact that you admitted to what you were doing was wrong and stuff like that. Yaguchi is like, look, you don't need to worry about me trying to come after you or anything, because I already know that your dude is protecting you. But at the same time, he still asks at the end of the day, he's like, I still don't understand why this guy just won't do it with you. And I'm like, dude, really? Is that all you care about? I'm like, dude, if that's the case, go to one of them houses where you can get people, or I don't know, go find yourself, go to a strip club or something. I don't know. Maybe you can have a one-time fling. And I did like the fact that Sayu acknowledged the fact that Asumi and Yoshida protected her. Well, in this case, it was Asumi that protected her and stuff like that. Eventually after work, they both are walking home, and essentially Asumi tells Sayu that she'll stay over to watch over her just in case maybe Yaguchi tries to come over and tries to do something. So yeah. And we kind of get a little bit more background information on Asumi. We find out that her dad, we find out she's rich as hell. Like, she's got a mansion of a house. Which too, she brings up the fact that I won't really tell anybody about my, like, living arrangements and how I live and stuff like that. We find out from that Asumi's dad is a politician and her mom is a lawyer, which I'm like, shit, no. That's no wonder why you're freaking damn near rich. Holy shit. Your dad's a politician, your mom's a lawyer? They're making big bank of money. You already, like, Jesus, you can make thousands of dollars just being a politician. You can make thousands of dollars just being a freaking lawyer and stuff like that. So yeah, also later on, Sayu does eventually tell, not all details, but she tells Asumi what she's been doing the past couple of months, saying that she's been sleeping with other guys from time to time while running away, until she met up to Yoshida and stuff like that. Now, we get this nice talk where they're just sitting on this hill, which, like, I guess you can say, like, it's from the opening where they're looking up into the sky with the stars and everything. Very nicely shot. I like the animation here and everything. And essentially, you just have Asumi going a little bit more. We find out that Asumi wants to actually become an author. We find out that usually, and because she wants to become an author, it's kind of, throwing things off of her parents a bit. Her dad's fine with her doing what she kind of wants, even though they somewhat get into fights. Mom's definitely not down with it. Her mom wants her to be a lawyer like her. Again, kind of the similar things of parents wanting their kids to take up after them. But authors make good money too. If you make very successful publishing books and everything. And Asumi was comparing this scene, the place they were at, because she makes a mention that her dad took her to this spot and things like that. And essentially, the whole gist of this conversation was Asumi telling Sayu, look, I understand. What you told me about your past seems like your past was horrible. It was probably rough. And I understand that. But, yes, your past was bad, but I feel like there's definitely got to be a reason for that terrible past, because you got here all the way from Hokkaido to where you're at now, and maybe this is where you can focus on your future for the better. And then, comes to the point where you can overcome that past you once had, and maybe even face it too, which, is probably more than likely going to happen at some point. Is she's going to have to go back home and face her past eventually, and stuff like that. Because that's the one thing you can do to move on into the future, is to face your past, even though most people say don't dwell too much on the past. Whatever happened in the past, forget about it. But if you have a legit fear of your past, the best thing to do is confront that past and move on to the future. And again, I like this talk between Sayu and Asumi. It goes to show that Asumi is a real legit friend. She's not going to be a backstabbing, itch, like, we could potentially have predicted. Like, she's a legit great friend right there. And she's got Sayu's back. And I really do like the fact that there are supportive people around Sayu willing to help her and stuff like that. Now, the last end credits scene of the episode is her and Sayu and Yoshida talking. Yoshida comes back from work, and he's essentially like, look, I'm gonna make you something because you made me something. You've done everything here. And after the traumatic experience you had, I want to be there to do something nice for you and stuff like that. And essentially that's when Sayu says, in a direct way, says thank you for caring about me and taking care of me and protecting me and stuff like that. But I want to have the courage one of these days to eventually go out on my own and face my past and move on for a better future for my life and stuff like that. And Yoshida agrees. He's like, well, I can't wait to see where you go from this point, and I'll help you the best I can to achieve that future you want to achieve and stuff like that. And that's kind of where the episode ends off. So I thought it was a really good episode, even with the disgusting stuff. But I like the development that they gave Sayu here. Because even in the last scene, she brings up to the point of Yoshida, like, look, I was so scared, and I just willingly almost let this dude do it with no hesitation, and stuff like that. And I like the fact that Sayu, she's now seeing the light of day, and she's now seeing that she wants to change for the better. She wants to be a better person. She wants to be somebody that she can take amongst herself and respect herself, not be where eventually if she gets pressured into a corner like that, she's just going to give up and be like, you know what, screw it, just do it. And I really do like I do like the development that they're giving with Sayu here in this episode. So I really enjoyed this episode. So I'm gonna get out of here, guys. If you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section whatever your thoughts on this week's episode, where it doesn't matter. If whatever you want to talk about it. I'll probably respond if you guys make a comment, but it's up to you guys if you want to comment. Again, hit that subscribe button if you want to get more Higehiro content, as well as any other anime content on the channel. As well, too, I'm also playing Resident Evil 8 as the playthrough on the channel right at this moment. I'm having a lot of fun, and then two, to other people that are subscribed to the channel, thank you, because if you guys didn't know, or if you guys are seeing, obviously, I have 102 subscribers at this point in time, so thank you guys for helping me get to 100 subscribers. Nothing more. I can say thank you for supporting the content I put on the channel. I typically am just doing this for fun, but I don't mind getting people who like my content. But other than that, I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. Until then, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.